it just smells so good. I can smell this hop beer for days. Hey guys, happy Homebrew Wednesday. I'll probably be posting this on Thursday though. So here I have my double IPA all tapped. It may be a combination of factors why it poured such a big head. Number one, I told some of you this on Facebook where I don't know if it was the lid of the keg that was somehow messed up because I swapped out the lids after this happened, or there was a leak somewhere else. But I kegged it, and I went to a cousin's wedding, and then came back to an empty CO2 tank. So I swapped it out. Luckily, I had time the next day to go swap out the tank, and thank God it's been holding, you know, the CO2 since then. So it was at 30 psi from, let's say, like 4 p.m. to 8 or 9, 4 p.m. say last Thursday to about 8 or 9 p.m. The next morning, Friday morning, but I don't know when the CO2 really petered out. So, and then once I replaced the tank, I left it at 30 psi for 3 days. Like I normally do is I leave it at 30 psi for 2.5, 3 days, and then lower it to serving pressure for a couple days to equal out. So it's worked for me before, but this time I'm a little, nervous that I overcarbed it, but I have the serving pressure for that keg, which still has a picnic tap on it, because that's what I use to test carbonation now, at 12 psi, and it might be a little too much. So when I fill bottles soon today to take to the bitterness or swap, I'll lower it to like as close to 10 as possible, and then see after a day or two if it equals out. But as you see here, I don't know whether the camera's picking it up, it's well carbed. I just poured it a minute or two ago. It is extremely cloudy, pretty much opaque. I can't see anything through it, but this is the first full pint, like the most I've poured of it so far. So I'm just going to go ahead, open up my app on my phone for the flashlight, and just show you guys how cloudy it is. It's pretty freaking cloudy with all those dry hops. So it's a nice, golden color. Actually, I should keep the flashlight on for a second just to show you the color. It's a nice golden, light gold color, like orangey, nice IPA color. And the aroma is chock full of hops. The Eldorado candied fruit, candied melon comes through. All like the peachy, grapefruity notes from the other hops come through. And because I have tasted before, there's a slight bit of hop astringency there, which really means I may have over dry hopped. But we'll check about that in the taste. So overall, very fruity, very fresh, juicy aroma. And not much malt on the aroma at all. Mostly like a slight bitterness, slight astringency, and a ton of hop juiciness. So let's taste it. Cheers. Pretty good. Got a lot of that more citrusy hops in the taste. Not too much bitterness. You can definitely tell that that it lost a little bit of carbonation from me having to carefully pour it with that big head, but the typical West Coast IPA flavor, a lot of citrus up front, and it finishes pretty dry, but not too dry. Yeah. So while it's not extremely bitter per se, I can definitely feel like it's going to dry my palate out as I drink this glass. But yeah, with that sip, I think the more I sip it, the more it'll come out, because the aroma is just so fresh and nice. and unique in my opinion. Oh, it just smells so good. I can smell this hop beer for days. So in the taste, it's not really too astringent. I'm really looking forward to, seeing what other people think tonight at the Bitterness or Swap, but overall, pretty happy with it. I can't really pick up on the honey malt. I'm not sure if I'm not sure exactly how much I used. I'll post it here in the video, but I'm not picking up so much malt in general. Like the only real specialty malt that would stand out would be the honey malt. They use a little bit of caramel 20, but that's such a light caramel malt. And when the beer finished at 10-13 or 10-12, which would make it like a 9% beer, it kind of took away any real specialty malt character. So maybe in the future I'll add a little bit more honey malt. But overall, it's on par with other double IPAs I've tried, homebrewed and craft brewed. So not to drag on and hem and haw too long, I do want to see if this beer is going to clear up at all over time. I cold crashed it. I used the hot bucket under the siphon, all that stuff to try to clear it. I will not be adding any finding agents to this. I'm not entering it into a competition, and some of the best double IPAs like Weyerbacher's Double Simcoe, they have an unfiltered version, which I like better than the filtered version. And then there's the Heady Topper from the Alchemist, which I believe is not filtered either, and it's still one of my favorite double IPAs. So, overall, I'm really happy with it. Flavor, the Eldorado's coming out, like I said, with more peach and candied melon flavors as it warms up. And I'm really looking forward. It's leaving some nice lacing. So, and one more quick little bit of footage, and that'll be it. But I hope you guys are brewing some great beers. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, and keep on brewing. Alright guys, so here we are in the Holy Inn Brewing Company Keezer. So in order to keep my pipeline going, in addition to the new kegs and the Perlick taps that I bought with my holiday money, I also bought one new beer line, one new gas line, and this stainless steel CO2 splitter, which you may have seen them on other people's setups before. In order to be able to serve 2 beers on tap, because although I have the capacity for 4, I usually only have 2 on tap, and then carbonate a 3rd beer. So here I have it where in the front is going to be the beer that I'm carbonating, which here I just finished carbonating, as you saw, my double IPA, and then I have these 2 kegs in the back, which are the ones that are going to be serving from the front. It might change in the future to make things a little more neat in there, but I made sure to get a blue gas line. A blue gas line, and a different type of connection to know that that's my extra line. It's not red like everything else. It's, if I have, an extra beer in there like I'm carbonating, then I put the main one from the first regulator onto the one that's carbonating, and then use the extra one to put on the keg that that is being finished, which in this case is my Pilsner, until it finishes and I can put the beer that's newly carbonated on the Perlick taps. So hopefully this will continue to work for me as I get used to having beer on tap in my Keezer. And if you have any questions about installing it, because it was a pain in the ass to tighten everything, I even broke the on-off valve for this one, and I luckily Taprite was willing to send me a new one for free. I just called them, and it took about a week because they were sending it from San Antonio, but they sent it to me for free, and I was able to install it with a little bit of elbow grease that went in, and now it's holding the CO2 and not leaking. So yeah, so that's the update for the inside of my Keezer. Again, happy homebrewing, happy Homebrew Wednesday, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.